Tell people what happened because when we
Oh, with our
when we
Thanksgiving.
yeah, tell them. So tell them what happened from when I saw the pricing in the beginning, and I said, okay, yeah, we changing
Yeah,
this, and we cranked
yeah.
it way up. What happened?
Right. So Lindsay looked at the pricing of my Thanksgiving package and what's inclusive of, well, you can do a la carte, just a fried turkey, or you can have a whole dinner, which would be the fried turkey and three sides. And so he looked at the pricing and he was like, man, this is nothing. And I'm like, that's a lot. And so I think we almost doubled it.
Almost. Yep.
Almost, it wasn't quite double it, and I was very hesitant to do it. And I'm like, oh, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? We'll probably have less sales this year, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll still have the business. Well, we probably doubled in sales, almost tripled that particular year because, to my amazement, to my surprise, I mean, people were not even but blinking, budging at the price increase. And I think you told me that one of your clients actually said, you asked them, hey, did you notice that Cheron increased her price? And his response back was, no, I didn't notice. I mean, I was going to order regardless. So that's a lesson learned, is that you can't be afraid.
And then what we do the next year with the price?
We increased it again. And so then this year he says, we're increasing the price. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yes.
Yeah. So everybody, this is live Q&A. Hope you brought your questions because that's what this is, Q&A, not a training session. So we're here to answer any questions you have about how to start your cooking show, or if you are interested in starting a catering business or growing a catering business. Cheron has been running RX Catering for about 18 years now, full time. So there's really nothing about running a catering business that she can't tell you. So the questions are open. Type your question in the chat, and we will. So we'll see if we have any questions to start, and if not, Cheron's going to give us some insights using a scenario that I often hear from people who reach out to me. So if you have a question, please type it in the chat. All right, so we don't have any questions right now. So the scenario that I often hear is somebody who cooks really well. They're always the favorite dish at their job's potluck or their family functions. Everybody's always raving about their food and telling them that they should start a business. And I hear and people tell me that food is my passion. I love catering. I love cooking for people, and I want to quit my job to start a catering business. What advice, what guidance do you have to offer for that person?
Oh, wow. Well, if they're telling you to quit your job and to start a business, I would first, well, I don't, many don't, some may know my story, but and some may. I actually wanted to start a business because I heard the same thing. I heard the same, oh, Sharon, you're a great cook. I was in the pharmaceutical industry. We catered to a lot of offices, and I knew that I had a good customer base of clients. And so I said it was a no brainer because I had the customers and I knew how to cook. And if I didn't, I would just hire someone. Well, it's not that easy. It's not that easy just to just go and start a business and have all the resources and everything behind you. Because, for example, excuse me, when I was in, that ladder is bothering me.
Jesus
I'm sorry.
Christ.
I'm sorry. That
Fine.
ladder is bothering me. Oh, okay.
Come on, man.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm gonna go move it. It's just bothering me.
Oh man.
I'm actually in the process of some painting, helping a friend paint. Okay. This is what we do in our spare time. Anyways, all right. So I was in the pharmaceutical industry, sorry, and It's what we deal with all the time, multitasking.
Can you just get
Um,
to it?
I know. I was in the pharmaceutical industry and I had a great base of customers. And so I said, you know what? I could easily do this. I started the process of looking for a chef, and then I just got overwhelmed because I was so focused on corporate America, climbing up the ladder. And hindsight, 2020, I probably shouldn't have done that because I got laid off probably about 5 years after that, and I was just grinding in the industry, and I just knew that I could do this on the side eventually. If I had to go back in time, I probably would have changed my thought process. I would have focused a little bit more on the foundation of starting a catering company while having the resources with a corporate job and having the benefits. Because honestly, when I ended up getting laid off, I said, oh, I don't need healthcare benefits. Oh, I don't need this. But I had this bug in my ear from my mom saying, no, you need benefits. You need to have coverage. And so that was the thing that I was lacking in the beginning because it was so expensive. So if someone's telling you to, hey, start a catering business initially, and you don't have the capital or the financial structure in place to support that, and quit your job, then there are things that you can do behind the scenes building up to that point to get you to the point where you can eventually quit and then start that business full time. Because I see a lot of people, I know, Lindsay, you deal and talk to a lot of people where they're working a full time job and they can't commit 100% to their catering business or their small business that they're trying to start because they got to take care of their corporate or their primary source of income. Would you say? I think I
Oh
just
yeah.
talked to someone the other day about that, and he was like, I just don't have time to create videos for the cooking show, and I just can't because I have to be on my full time job. So I would say if I had to go back in time, that's what I would actually do in the beginning is lay the foundation a little bit better.
Okay.
And then you ask the question, oh, yeah, so they want to start a business and they have the best dish. Well, you can't have a business just with one item. So they may have an opportunity to initially, and that's one of the things that caterers or small business owners, restaurants, or anyone in the food service industry, the challenges sometimes is creating that initial menu. And that's where you can start too. You have this one fantastic dish, but what else can you offer?
That kind of leads into a question that we have here from Jissy. I hope I'm saying that right. Can I make a cooking show using recipes from different cookbooks? Sure. You make a cooking show recipes from anywhere. Family recipes, recipes you invented yourself. There's no limits on what you can do. Just people want to learn how to make that dish, and
Yeah.
it doesn't
And I
matter.
was going to say, Lindsay, I'm sorry to interrupt. If you look at the cooking show that you produced for me, you look at all the different recipes. If you all go to on YouTube, Cooking with Cheron, or you can look it up by RX Catering as well. The cooking show that I have, you'll see a variety of different recipes. It's not just one recipe that or one type of food that I'm focusing on. It's not, soul food. It's not just dessert items. It's all types. And I kind of expanded my repertoire of items that I offer and show on a cook or demonstrate on a cooking show based on people. People really want different types of recipes. They want gluten free, they want vegan, they want vegetarian. So you can definitely expand on that component and create your cooking show on a variety of different recipes.
So we're in the end of August now. What talk about the significance of this part of the year in the catering industry?
Absolutely. So this is a time of year where you're gearing up for holiday season. So we're in the middle of August. So let's see. I typically start my Thanksgiving promotion and dinners at the beginning of or the end, middle or end of September. So essentially, I have probably about 2 or 3 more weeks, or I will start thinking about pricing. Every year, I increase my pricing on my Thanksgiving packages that I have, and the packages are I started off years ago just doing fried turkeys. So and honestly, I thought, man, I don't think I'll be able to sell many fried turkeys. But I kept getting so many requests, so many requests. And this was back in 2010. 2010, I think was, or 2009 when I started frying turkeys. I started off in my kitchen, in my first commercial kitchen, with probably, I think I had four fryers of those propane outdoor fryers. And then so people kept asking, "Oh man, Cheron, do you have the capability of frying turkeys?" That first year, I think I fried about 60 turkeys. And it was just word of mouth. People think Popeyes automatically when they think of fried turkeys. But man, you can do so much better if you do your own fried turkeys. And the reason why people don't want to fry their own turkeys because one, it's labor intensive as far as the prep work if you're making a bulk amount like I am in my team. And then two, it's dangerous. So just imagine I had these four fryers. They were propane fryers. Right now, I probably have about 10 outdoor fryers and I have eight indoor fryers. So over the years, I kept adding on additional fryers because of the demand. So we probably fry about 100. Last year, we did 140 turkeys last year. So I give that example because it's just a progression from year to year to year. You start, and we started about the pricing. Well, if I'm adding on equipment every year, I'm going to have to increase my price. The price of goods and services has increased. Turkeys aren't as cheap as they used to be from previous years. So I have to factor that into the cost. So essentially, the customers are going to pay long term for your increase of your inventory of equipment. So right now, in a couple of weeks, I'll start posting on social media. I'll use my email link or my listserv to send out reminders. Hey, it's fried turkey time. And get ready to place your orders because over the years, I've also learned too, there has to be a cutoff. I was that business owner that wanted to take everybody. I wanted to wait, I would let people wait until 2 days before Thanksgiving. Look, we can't do that. We can't wait for people because of their poor planning to have that extra stress and anxiety on us. I've learned that over the years. So I cut off. I have a 2 week cutoff, 2 week prior to Thanksgiving cutoff. So myself and my team, we know how many turkeys we're going to be frying and prepping for. Now, there may be one or two off that we may, a VIP customer, hey, Sharon, I forgot this year. I don't know how you forget because Thanksgiving comes at the same time every year, but that's neither here nor there. We make it work sometimes, but you as a caterer or a small business owner should not add extra anxiety and stress on yourself because someone doesn't plan accordingly. That's why we're planning right now in advance.
So we got a question how to get started. Daniela, how do you start? Start with your phone. That's the easiest way. A cooking show is, and it's important that she indicates that she's a professional chef because from what I have observed from running my business, professional chefs are the least likely to start a cooking show because you guys overthink it. You just think, I got to have this and this, and it's got to have all of this. And what happens is you build up this huge project that it has to have all of these things before you get started. And it makes it impossible to start because most of the time, all of these resources that you envision that you need is stuff that's going to cost a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of people. A lot of folks think they need a film crew to record them. You don't need a film crew, and if you a film crew is expensive, and we're talking about coordinating schedules. That's the most complicated way to do that. You may grow into having a camera operator at some point, but the idea that you need 3 or 4 people to help you record a cooking show is just false. To get started, all you need to do is put your phone on a tripod, press record, cook a dish, and talk people through it. That's your first episode. Many of the questions that you have will get answered from doing the work. It's like preparing a recipe that you haven't tried before. You you can't you can't think your way through it. you need to actually try to make it. So don't try to think your way through starting your cooking show. Just do it. Just put your phone on a tripod, press record, cook something, and in that video you can just review it yourself, or if you think it's good enough you can post it online. But to get started, that's all we're talking about here, is getting started. That just means recording yourself cooking something, and that really only requires your smartphone.
And not only cooking, a lot of times I find that people want, if from a professional perspective, how to, for example, cut, how to peel, how to do the things that we take for granted. Like, honestly, some of the things that I say to Lindsay is like, oh, that's so simple. And he's like, Sharon, I mean, but you do this every day. So a lot of people want to see things like that. I had a couple summer interns this year, and it was so interesting to me that, I mean, just peeling, for example, as we know, when we're peeling maybe a cantaloupe or a watermelon or something simple that we take for granted, it's starting from point A. So people want to see things like that when you're doing your cooking shows or demonstrations.
That's an excellent point. That applies across all industries, but we're talking about food in particular. What happens is you develop a level of expertise. Like you started, somebody started, let's say you're a chef that's been doing it for 10 years now. Your knowledge has progressively increased over that time. So now things that are elementary to you, just you do it without even thinking about it. Those are
Mhm.
things that when you first started in year one, you had no idea how to do. So what happens is, as your knowledge increases, you just think everybody knows what you know, and that's not the case. So a course on a video on basic knife techniques, that's a video for your cooking show, like Cheron said. How to how to cut an onion, chop an onion, how to open a mango, not a mango, well, mango too,
Avocado.
but avocado, yeah. Like these are
Mhm.
things that you take for granted because you are a professional. You have to remember that
Mhm.
everybody didn't have the educational opportunities that you had. That might have been your mother or your grandmother or your father, whoever it was that taught you how to cook from the earliest age. They had you in the kitchen with them and teaching you things. And then you went on to culinary school, and then you went into the culinary profession, and you earn your living as a chef. The home cook, most people don't have that. They don't have, they
No.
maybe their mother couldn't cook at all, and all they did was eat microwave meals and eat out. And now they want to learn how to cook and eat healthy. So don't just assume that things that are basic to you, that's advanced level knowledge for other people. And that makes your job really easy hosting a show, because the stuff that you're teaching is stuff that you could do in your sleep. And so
Making
now,
a sauce. Making a
say that again.
sauce. That's simple to us.
Yeah,
But
teaching people how to make any kind of sauce, but particularly like their favorite sauces from whatever fast casual or restaurant or whatever it is that they like, teaching them how to make these things at home and make them more healthy. This is stuff that you're able to do as a professional. Like you can taste the sauce and know the ingredients in it because your palate is refined. The average person, they can't do that. So don't underestimate the value of the knowledge that you have. You have so much knowledge, stuff that you would think if you were going to hire somebody, they should know on day one to work in your kitchen. Well, the home cook doesn't have that knowledge. So you have the opportunity to teach them and teach them how to do it the right way. So, yeah, Sharon is absolutely right. Teaching people basic things that are basic to you, this is advanced education to them. So let's see. We got Kelly is asking about editing tools. This is a trick question. You should not be editing your own videos, Kelly. This is one of the number one mistakes that people make, business owners make, is trying to do everything yourself. Video editing is a massively time consuming task. It just takes a long time. So you just think you make a video that's 30 minutes long, you prepare a recipe that's 30 minutes long, it's at least 30 minutes to watch it, to edit it, but it's not 30 minutes because you got to stop as you're going through it and change this and change, the editing process is like 8 to 12 minutes for whatever the length of the final video. You can the math on it you can work out is probably 8 to 12 minutes of editing time, and that's if you know what you're doing. When you don't know what you're doing, video editing software is really complex for people who have no real experience with it. So you are going to waste a ton of time trying to edit your own videos, and you're going to do a bad job at it. So it's taking you longer to produce a really bad product when you could just outsource this to somebody who knows what they're doing. They're going to do it faster, they're going to do it better. And that time that you're not wasting on video editing is time that you're spending working on your business, growing your business. So don't worry about the cost of the video editor. Like, you can outsource that overseas and get excellent quality at a fraction of the price of what it costs to hire talent in the US. But you have to assign a value to your time. How much is your time worth to you? Are you willing to spend 8 hours trying to edit a video and then still can't get it done? That's usually what happens. People will try and they spend an hour, a couple of hours today, and then tomorrow they try it again, and then eventually quit in frustration because they couldn't figure it out. And so all of that time that you wasted trying to figure it out, it's just time wasted when you could have just handed that video off to somebody who knew what they were doing, and they give it back to you tomorrow, and you put that video out into the world. People see it, they contact you for your services, and then you make money. That's how you make money. You make money from publishing cooking videos. You do not make money from editing cooking videos. So I would encourage you not to go down that path.
To his point, I've even asked him, hey, can I get that one clip and I'll make a reel out of it, or make a 30-second whatever. And he's like, Cheron, you're not doing that. Um, I mean, he just knocks it down immediately. So I have never, out of all the hundreds, thousands of videos that I have out there, I've never edited one myself.
You
So
don't have time to do that. It's just,
no, I don't.
let's see. Yes, Daniela, don't overthink it. Please don't. That's what stops home cooks. I have a video on this. I may have a couple of number of videos on this specific topic, with home cooks versus chefs. Home cooks just start. They put up their phone or their tripod or their traditional camera, and they just record themselves cooking something, and then they put it out, and then they make another video, and then they make another video, and then they make another video. What? Because they don't know enough to be afraid and therefore paralyze themselves with fear. With the professional chefs, what I see is everybody acts like the best chefs in the world are going to be a panel of experts reviewing your very first video. That's not the case. The chefs in your peer group or better, they got their own stuff going on. They're not watching your videos to critique you and see if you did this exactly right. They don't care. They doing their own thing. The people who are watching your videos are people who look up to you as somebody who has all this knowledge and they have none. So even if you make a mistake, which is not a big deal, but even if you make a mistake in the video, they're not even gonna pick it up because your knowledge is so far advanced beyond theirs. Just don't overthink it, man. Don't act like Gordon Ramsay is gonna review your video in front of the whole world. He's not. He is not. Let's talk about the personnel aspect, Cheron, of running a catering business, because this is something that I think a lot of people overlook. They go into business doing all of the cooking themselves, obviously, and then don't realize that if you have any measure of success, you're going to have to start having other people help you, and that can be a challenge.
Mhm. Absolutely. So when I first started, I think I had maybe, I think, 4 employees. The great thing about my story is that I started off I bought into a catering franchise. So there was a level of like just the foundation. Hey, you do this. This is what you need. This is how many delivery vehicles you should purchase, etc. Um, Now I'm no longer in that catering franchise because he got rid of it, but I kept the name. I had a great relationship with him, and part of the business component is the branding and marketing. I had been in business for about 7 years at that point, so I didn't want to rebrand myself. So, going back to the personnel, is that I started off with a limited number of people, and then I found myself getting more busy or busier. And so I needed to add on. Now, where do you find good people? Well, I've learned the hard way. I've hired people off of, well, one, word of mouth, two, family. And that is definitely not really the way to go all the time is family. We love them. We want to support them. We want to make sure they have some income. But yeah, that's probably not always the best source of personnel. Even though I will backtrack, one, I have one of the best virtual assistants. And she gave herself that title. She was just helping me out, and it was my mom. My mom's retired, and she answers my phones 2 times a week in the afternoon. And people were like, "Oh, does that really help?" Absolutely. I mean, as you know, we are time is a commodity for us. So anytime that I can get 2, 3, 4 hours of freedom of not answering the phone and being distracted, yeah, I'm winning. And so that would be really my only pro in having family. So I've used Indeed. Uh, and coming from a corporate background, I could not believe it. It just baffled me. I would schedule all these interviews. I would have at least 10, 15 interviews lined up, gone through resumes, called people. And again, that takes time. And I was doing this initially by myself. And there would be no shows. And I couldn't relate to that. And, coming from corporate America, you don't not show up to an interview that you've gotten a voice confirmation. You've talked to that person. You've actually gotten a follow up email from the company saying, hey, meet me at this time at this location. It just was baffling to me how people didn't show up. But I've learned over the years it's the industry. And now, further down the line, it is just how people are, unfortunately, with jobs. So I've used Indeed. Now, a lot of it is word of mouth. If I have right now on my team 13, and so many of them have people that they know. Hey, can so and so come in for an interview? Absolutely. And a lot of times, initially, I would ask them, do you know anyone that can work that is reliable? And what I instill in people, if you're given a referral, they have to be a reflection of you. You've been with RX Catering for 6 or 7 years. Don't bring anybody, don't refer anyone that doesn't have the same work ethic as you, um, discipline as you. And so that's how I've gotten my team right now is just referrals. And then when I need more staff for my larger events, because we're doing daily catering. We cater to 6 preschools. We have our corporate catering. We do other medical and pharmaceutical sales reps, lunches, home parties, whatever. So, excuse me, we can't handle it all. So when it comes to the full service component and when my staff is not available, because I don't want to burn them out from the daily operational stuff, and if I need weekend help or event help, then I use another company for third party help. And that's sometimes hit or miss too. But I've built probably in the past 4 years by using this company a good solid team of people that, hey, if I have an extra, I need an extra two hands or two bodies, then I know that probably out of my roster of 10, I'm going to have some good quality people come through. So it's not you. I thought it was me in the beginning where I'm like, man, people aren't showing up to work. people aren't showing up to the interview. It's not me. I used to have to like really persevere through it, and just, it's building your team throughout the years.
So we have a question here about the point of view for non-pro chefs to create a cooking show. I'm really not sure what you're asking for regarding point of view. Um, I'm wondering if this is a question pertaining to qualification. Maybe a lot of times people think, well, I'm not a pro, so who am I? If you know how to cook, you you can teach. So it's not, most cooking shows are not run by professional chefs for the reasons that I stated earlier. Most professional chefs can't get out of their own way to start a cooking show. So you will see many more cooking shows by home cooks or non-professional chefs than you do from professionals. And I got a client in Memphis. This guy's a paramedic, but his cooking show, man, you if you watched his show, you wouldn't think he wasn't a professional chef. The dishes that he's creating, he's presenting stuff from around the world. This man has clearly been a student of food, and he's sharing that knowledge with the viewer. He's taking you around the world from his kitchen, and he's got a little tiny kitchen
Hmm.
in Memphis. And I could not be, matter of fact, let me put this just search for on YouTube, search for Kanin Cuisine, and we'll put it in the chat. Cuisine.
And as you're putting that in the chat, I can actually add on to that. My formal background is I didn't go to culinary school. I have a degree in economics from Florida A&M University, and I never took any culinary classes. From time to time, I do think about, probably if I have the time, I do want to take a class here and there. When I go on vacation, I do the fun things like cooking classes. I was just in Barcelona, Spain, and so I took a paella class. I have made paella a few times here, but it was just, based upon talking to different people that made paella. But when I was in another country, I said, let me take an authentic class. So the only reason I was able to do that is because I created the time. I was on vacation. I wanted to do something that was mastering my craft and hopefully bring it back to, implement it here at Arts Catering. But I, um, I definitely don't think you need to be a professional trained chef, and no hard feelings to the ones that have invested the time into their culinary expertise. I have found, because I have hired chefs for my business in the beginning, I've had at least four professionally trained chefs work for me and then move on to different things. I've learned from them, and I also learned too that that industry is sometimes they may not be the nicest people, because they have this air about them and their profession. And again, nothing against them, but I think some of the best chefs or best cooks are ones that cook with love. That's my motto. I cook with love, and people know that. It's authentic, it's real, it's I'm going to put everything I have into it, the love. And if I don't know how to make something, I'm going to reach out, or I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to reach out to that person that may have the expertise, or I may go on YouTube, or I just may just wing it. And 9 times out of 10, my dish is, I think, pretty on point.
I agree. So I have another question: how do you stand out as a cooking show? Two-part answer. Part one is you start. Most people can't even get started. And part two is you show up consistently. A cooking show means every week if you're serious about it. Think about whatever your favorite shows are on television, past or present. They're your favorite because they came on every week. So you cannot put out an episode here or there and expect to be successful with a cooking show. If you show up consistently every week, YouTube will go find your audience for you. You got to do, you got to help it out as well. Email marketing is a huge part of everything that I teach. That's the easiest way to communicate with people, is sending them an email. So you build your email list, You include your weekly cooking video in that email, as well as anything else you want to include, and you keep doing it. Every single week you show up, and you will build an audience that are fans of your style of cooking. So that's how you stand out. Consistency. It doesn't sound sexy. It's not fancy. Folks a lot of times are looking for some secret answer. It's really not. Just show up consistently. You would, if you pay attention, you will see that that's a very rare skill for people to have these days, is to just show up consistently and do what you said you was going to do. So if you're promising your audience a cooking show, you're going to, every week you're going to take them on a journey and teach them something new. Show up every week. And that's how you stand out, because most people can't do it. They'll put together one or two videos. 99% of people are not going to make it to 10 videos. For your show to be successful, we talking about 50 videos a year, one a week. Most people never make it to 10. They put out one. If you start with 100 people, by week 2 you're down to 50, because half of them couldn't put out a video 2 weeks straight. By the time you get to 10 videos out of that 100 people, you got none. So if you want to stand out, just show up consistently. And the way you do that simply is you publish one video a week, but you don't record one video a week. You pick one day a month. You record 4 episodes. If you get good, you'll be able to record 6. But that one day a month, you record 4 episodes. You hand them off to your video editor. They edit the videos, upload them to your YouTube channel, and schedule them. And now with just one day per month, you got 4 videos per week. And so that one day per month delivers you your 50 videos per year. That's how you stand out.
And to Lindsay's point about pre-recording, now is it going to take? I'll just give you the behind the scenes and the down and dirty. Is that it? When I'm done recording, most days, I am dead tired. I will. My mom will see. Oh, you recorded today. Why are you so tired? And she'll call after a recording session. And usually, the recording session will start around 12 or 1 o'clock, and we won't finish until I don't know 6 or 7. And then she'll come calling. Oh, why are you so tired? Mom, um, I just sat up and recorded 5 or 4 to 6 videos and all of the prep work ahead of time to, get to that point. It's a lot, as you all know. It's a lot you have to, put everything in the dishes, all your seasoning, all your ingredients. And so it's time consuming. You're washing dishes afterwards. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun to do all the prep work, but it will set you up for sure for success because you're getting everything knocked out in one day.
Do we have any other questions? Let's see. Make sure I ain't miss anything. Don't think so. So for Kelly, if she's still here, I told you don't edit yourself. But if you still want to do it, if you're on Mac, you can just use iMovie. It's built in with the computer. Or if you're on Windows, I don't know what the built-in editing software is. I can't remember the name of it, but there's another one. It's a Wondershare product. Wondershare. So a mic, Daniela, you can get a wireless mic for like $150. If you look at any one of my videos in the description box, there's a link to the mic I recommend. But yeah, you want to get a wireless mic, it's gonna cost you about $150. But yeah, Kelly, so iMovie, if you're on the Mac, Filmora, that's it. Wondershare.
And then
One.
Lindsay, share also the stand with the light that has the holder for the phone. That has been helpful. You know that I
Yeah.
sometimes I
One,
don't know if you have that or sorry to put you on the spot, but
well, all of that stuff is in another editing program. So, yeah, wanted to share Filmora. Uh, base price for editing a video. There is no base price. There's no base price for anything anywhere in like these are professional services. So depending on somebody can charge you $1,000 to edit one video, somebody else is charging 10. There is no base price. Like this is a video editing is something that people can do from anywhere in the world. So if you hiring a US video editor, well, that's not necessarily. US is gonna have the highest prices, but that doesn't mean that you would pay. Like you could, you can get your neighbor's kid as a teenager. Like we used to cut grass and babysit and do all kind of, the stuff that we used to do back in the day to make money. Now they can, sit on their laptop and edit videos and make money. So you might get a teenager to do it for you for nothing or, real cheap or so there is no base. It's just it could be nothing. It could be thousands of dollars for one video. It's just that whole range.
so you started to talk a little bit earlier about promotion of. Well, I did. You asked about what I was doing during this time frame for the holiday season, and I started to talk about Thanksgiving. Well, as we all know, Christmas or Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, it follows immediately afterwards. So while you all are preparing your pricing and your packages or what you want to focus on for Thanksgiving timeframe, start considering too during the same period what your holiday menu is going to look like and what you're going to charge. I don't think I really went into pricing before, but I was underpricing way immensely in the beginning for
Most
what I
people
was
do.
actually providing. What'd you say?
Most people do. I see that all the time. It's more commonly a problem with women business owners, but I see it with men too. People just not recognizing the value of their service, and so what happens? Most people will look around and see what everybody else is charging, and then try to put themselves somewhere around there, and all that is doing. You got people who don't know what they're doing, uh, taking advice from other people who don't know what they're doing because they did the same thing. If you really want to at some point engage a business coach, get somebody who knows what they're doing to take a look at your pricing, because if you came up with your pricing all by yourself, and especially if you set your pricing by looking at what other people in your market are charging, and you set your price based on that, you're undercharging. So you know we don't sell food. What I tell my clients is we don't sell food, we sell experiences. We deliver an experience. So we're going to talk about the experience that you deliver. We're not going to talk about, how much a quarter, the price of a ground beef. That's completely irrelevant. If you are a premium, a premium chef, and that does not mean formal training, that means your mindset. If you're delivering a fantastic experience, you're cooking with love, you love your work, you're really crafting a curated, elegant, high touch experience for your clients, you have to charge for that. People with money will pay for nice things. If you're not charging enough, what's going to happen is you'll be dealing with the people who want to nickel and dime you. They don't appreciate anything that you do. They just want to haggle you down, haggle you down, haggle you down. And by the time you get to actually doing the event, you're just so drained from having to deal with them. And that's not what you don't, you shouldn't start a business and do that. When you start a business, you get to create the life that you want. That's really what business ownership does for you. So you create a business where you work with the kind of people who bring you joy and give you energy. And the easiest way to do that is by charging a premium price. People who pay money are easier to get along with. They're less demanding. And you make a whole lot more money in a lot less time. So But go
And
ahead,
I'll give you
Sharon.
a good, no, I was going to give you a good example of that too. When I was speaking with someone, the gentleman that Lindsay referenced earlier out of Memphis, I was chatting with him about pricing the other day, and he said, he told me how much a rack of lamb costs, and he was saying that, I don't think my customers are going to pay X number of dollars. And so after he explained to me how much he actually pays, and then I asked him, well, how long does it actually take you to go to the store, um, prep your lamb. Oh, and he smokes most of his proteins in this big smoker that he has, and that smoking process takes about, I guess, 4 to 5 hours. The whole overall process for start to finish, we calculated takes about 6 hours. So after I broke it down of how much his price point was, I said, so basically you're making about $9 an hour. And he paused, and I said, are you, I don't really know you that well, but I think you're well worth more than $9 an hour of that whole process. And it's amazing if you actually factor in the time and that it takes for you to create something from start to finish. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a cake, it could be whatever, the lamb chops. But if you at the end of the day are only making $9 an hour, you might as well have not even made it. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the joy, because then I asked the question, well, how do you feel about $9 an hour? And he says, man, um, I, that I don't even feel like delivering it at that point. Exactly. Exactly. So you should not, I mean, minimum wage in DC is 15, I think 15 or $17 an hour. I mean, granted, he's not in DC, but just to give you a comparison, you have to factor all that in. So when people, as Lindsay said, are nickel and diming you, they're not the one. And to my own fault in the beginning, I was that small business owner that would just accept any customer because I didn't want to say no. And I've gotten to a point now to where I'm like, you know what, they're not my customer, and I'm okay with that. I'm not for everyone, and everyone's not for me. And you have to take that kind of point of view, if you will, in order for you to not lose your mental sanity, mental wellness, because you're trying to accommodate other people's bank account, when you look at your bank account, and you're, at the end of the day, you're at making $8 or $9 an hour.
Tell people what happened, because
Oh, with our
when we
Thanksgiving.
yeah, tell them what happened from when I saw the pricing in the beginning, and I said, okay, yeah, we changing
Yeah,
this, and we cranked
yeah.
it way up. What happened?
Right. So Lindsay looked at the pricing of my Thanksgiving package, and what's inclusive of, well, you can do a la carte, just a fried turkey, or you can have a whole dinner, which would be the fried turkey and three sides. And so he looked at the pricing, and he was like, man, this is nothing. And I'm like, that's a lot. And so I think we almost doubled it.
Almost. Yep.
Almost, it wasn't quite double it, and I was very hesitant to do it. And I'm like, oh, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? We'll probably have less sales this year, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll still have the business. Well, we probably doubled in sales, almost tripled that particular year, because to my amazement, to my surprise, I mean, people were not even but blinking, budging at the price increase. And I think you told me that one of your clients actually said, you asked them, hey, did you notice that Cheron increased her price? And his response back was, no, I didn't notice. I mean, I was going to order regardless. So that's a lesson learned, is that you can't be afraid.
And then what we do the next year with the price?
We increased it again. And so then this year he says, we're increasing the price. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yes.
And so we we had to do it in increments because her pricing was so far below where it needed to be I didn't feel comfortable, and I'm the guy that's always saying charge more, charge more, charge more. To go from where it was to where it needed to go, I couldn't do it all in one leap. So we had to do a huge leap year one, then we do another huge leap year two. And when you combine that with appropriate marketing, you don't lose anything. You don't lose customers. And the way I explained it to Cheron, and as I explain it to others, for Thanksgiving, people are not paying for food. And you this applies to different types of events and such throughout the year. But Thanksgiving is a very easy example for folks to understand. People are not paying for food. If I'm hosting 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, whatever it is, at my house for Thanksgiving, what I'm paying for is not having to go to the grocery store days in advance, fighting in line with all the people trying to get, the ingredients that I need, and then spending the whole day before prep, and then cooking all that morning and trying to. And so what people are paying for is not to have any of that headache. I just want to have people over for Thanksgiving. I do not need to go crazy for the 3 or 4 days leading into Thanksgiving trying to prepare all this food. I can just pay. So how much am I willing to pay? That when you frame it that way, that you're paying to not have any headache, you get this food delivered. All you got to do is unpack it and serve. Am I willing to pay? Because Cheron was like somewhere around $200, something and some change. I was like, man, that's nothing. So for the problem that you're solving, which is the headache of preparing food, and this is what I always try to communicate to people, we get paid based on the size of the problem that we're solving. Feeding a dozen people for Thanksgiving is a big problem. People who have money are happy to pay money to solve their problem. We're not talking about people who just don't have the money, but we're talking about people who do have the money. For them, $1,000 for Thanksgiving dinner, to not have to deal with any of the hassle of it, that's nothing. I would take this money so I don't have to deal with that hassle, because you want to, and this is a mistake that so many people make. Do not try to build your business catering to people who have no money. Everybody is not poor. You may have come from a humble background, and that's fine, but you're not there now. Or you may be in a humble background, humble circumstances right now where you cannot necessarily afford the best things in life. That's okay. If you have elevated your skills to a point where you can deliver some of the best things in life, where you can deliver a fantastic food experience, you get to charge accordingly. You don't have to price your stuff at a price that you could afford, or that the people who you grew up with could afford. That is not what you set your pricing on. You just think about the rich part of town, wherever you live. I don't know where it doesn't matter what city you're in. There's a rich part of town with houses that's just off the charts in price. If nobody has any money, who lives in those houses? Okay? Those are the homes, those are the communities where you want to be the caterer. Not in the parts of town where people have no money. You want to be the caterer in the parts of town where people got these big homes and these fancy kitchens and they can't even cook. They're happy to have you come in and set up your stuff and make their kitchen look like what it's supposed to look like and do what it's supposed to do. And they will pay you for it. They will happily pay you for it, but you have to market to them. You will not be able to get those customers if you're marketing yourself as the dollar store option, because those are not dollar store people. If your marketing message is low price, low price, low price, that doesn't appeal to people who got plenty of money. What they're looking for is a fantastic experience for themselves, for their family, for their loved ones, for their clients. They may be corporate jobs or whatever. You have to speak to the things that are important to them, which is the experience. And when you're delivering the experience that they want, they don't care about the price. So
Experience and convenience. And I have a good like follow up to that, is that I my price was so low that a customer actually tipped me $100. I
well,
mean, I don't know if you remember, I told you
I
that,
got another
Lindsay.
one. I got a client that her prices were so low, and I told her this years prior. She was charging $1,500 for a dinner party, and I said, when I talked to her about what she was actually delivering, I said, "No, this is at least $3,500 worth of service that you're delivering. That's where you should start your pricing, and then we can take it up from there." And she didn't want to do it. She said, "Oh no, I lose all my customers, blah 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 blah." So fast forward 2 years, she does an event at one of these rich houses in one of these rich communities where these people got like horses running around on the property and all of that. And she charged them $1,500, and they gave her a $2,000 tip. $2,000 tip. So they paid her more than what she thought she was worth. Like, and that put her back at, when you add the total up, it's $3,500, which is what I had told her before that she should be charging. But it's again that mindset that you didn't grow up like that, so you think nobody grew up like that. That's just not the case. So I'm looking at some of these questions here. What is your? I guess he's asking about your staff, Cheron. What does the crew look like? How many people you got, or what? How does that work, or whatever? I don't know. However you want to answer it.
So I have right now, well, I had 15 during the summer, but 13 that are currently on staff. So I have two main line cooks, if you will, or back of the house, in the kitchen, doing all the hot components of prepping or catering. And then I have a couple people that are just primarily focused on garde manger, or salads. I have someone that's focusing on desserts. But what I've learned over the years, which is essential for a catering company, is that everyone should be cross trained. Not necessarily, all the hot stuff, or all the, the big important items, because not everyone's, built for that. But cross train, meaning that someone could come in, and if my employee that does salads calls out or it can't come in, someone else can pick up the task and accomplish it. So, and then I have actually four that are solely drivers, just drivers. And but I require any of my drivers to come in, and they have to be able to do other stuff in the kitchen, take out the trash, sweep. From time to time during our busy season, they're going to be back there injecting turkeys. They're going to be bagging up, items to go out. So essentially, everyone can do more than one or two tasks, and I think that's important.
Okay. So this is going back to pricing. This is cost plus, 4 to 5 times more than normal cost. That's any kind of multiplication or addition, or that's not how you set your pricing. You decide how much your experience is worth. I got another chef, a restaurant owner, actually, who she has a premium service where she closes her cafe. Well, doesn't close it down. She's closed on the weekends, but she will open it up. You can buy out the cafe and get a 5-course meal, 5-course experience for like for a couple. And she was charging like $1,000 for that. I'm like, you delivering all of that for $1,000? We're not doing cost plus. I said immediately when she started explaining what it is, I said, okay, we're going to change that to a $10,000 evening, and it's not going to be one couple, it's going to be three, because her restaurant has capacity for like 120 people, something like that. So you can have 3 couples in there, well separated, and having an individual premium experience. And so that we've turned that from $1,000 night to a $30,000 night. That has nothing to do with the cost of the food. The price of the food is irrelevant. So premium pricing is not cost plus pricing. It's about the value of the experience that you're delivering. So I want you to get out of that mindset of thinking that you got to pull out your calculator and do some multiplication. It's like, nah, just look at this. What are you delivering? What do you feel like that's worth? And if you're not good at doing that kind of thing, then you got to talk to somebody who is good at doing that kind of thing. But premium pricing is not, it has absolutely nothing to do with the cost of the products and the materials. You look at, everybody's familiar with the Air Jordans. the shoes we get manufactured in China or Taiwan or wherever, the shoes probably cost $10 to make, and they sell them for 200, 300, whatever they sell them for. The price that they're selling them for has absolutely nothing to do with the cost of the materials. And for your premium catering options, you can't do that for everything, but for your premium options, the price of that premium experience has nothing to do with the price of the materials. Let's see. So it is 11 o'clock. We are going to wrap this up. Do you have anything you want to leave the people with, Cheron?
Sure. Well, thanks for joining us today. Again, this is a great opportunity. If you're interested in starting a cooking show, please, please, please check out mine. Go to YouTube, Cooking with Cheron. You'll see so many different examples of what I've been able to produce and cook and demonstrate and show. Start there first, and ask questions. I think there's always an opportunity for us to learn from each other, and that's the first spot to go to. Cooking with Cheron on .com. Well, not .com, but my YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and pull up Cooking with Cheron, or like I said before, you can put in RX Catering and it will come in that way as well. I would love to have you subscribe, ask questions on different episodes, and actually help me to help you.
Okay. Thank you, Cheron, for being so generous with your time today. For everybody that's watching, whether live or on a replay, just get started. Start with your phone. Put your phone on the tripod, press record, cook something, talk people through it, and now you have started your cooking show. To get started, all we have to do is use your smartphone, horizontal, not vertical, horizontal, because we're recording with the intent of broadcasting it on the TV. More people watch YouTube in the United States. More people watch YouTube on their television than they do Netflix. So if you want a cooking show on TV, all you got to do is put your cooking show on YouTube. That means recording horizontal, and you can do this with your phone and get started, and then you build from there. But most of these questions that people have will get answered through the process of making their first video. So you got to just do it. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.